Hello, I am K-pop World and welcome to my channel. Today we will be talking about Wooyoung refusing to do the Like JENNIE dance challenge because it has turned into a huge thing on Twitter. Now this whole thing really baffles me because it's really so stupid. He said 3 words, maybe 5 words, which were not disrespecting anybody, we're not shading anybody. It was very clear, and if you know the full story, you would understand why he would say no to the Like JENNIE dance challenge. But if you don't, stick around because I am going to tell you. If you do go on to like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe so I can keep making more videos just like this one. Like, genuine question, what world do we live in where a K-pop idol cannot say no to doing a dance challenge without receiving backlash and without being accused of disrespecting the artist of the dance challenge, even though he didn't say anything disrespectful to said K-pop idol? So let me explain. Wooyoung is on live with his fans and somebody in the chat asks, hey, can you please do the Like JENNIE dance challenge? Because obviously it's very popular right now among K-pop idols and just among K-pop fans in general. JENNIE is a really big K-pop idol, you know, Blackpink, and just as JENNIE herself, she is a very huge star right now. Also, if you haven't listened to her album, feel free to go listen to it because it really is good and you will not regret it. Anyways, this is what Wooyoung had to say on live when he was asked about the Like JENNIE dance challenge.
Like JENNI는 하지 않습니다. 당신 에이티니가 아니신가요?
He kept it simple, he kept it brief, he said no, and then he said, are you not 18? Very understandable for him to say that because most Ateenies, if not all Ateenies, which is the Ateez fandom, know exactly why he wouldn't do the Like JENNIE dance challenge. It's because of a long-standing feud that they have with the choreographer Vata. Vata took a dance move from Say My Name, which is a standout dance move in the choreography, and used it in a dance choreography for Zico, and went on to pass it off as his own original work. He never gave credit to Ateez or to the original choreographers, which is Anze and Josh, and he also never gave an explanation or an apology for using said dance move and passing it off as his own original work. Now, fans were very quick to call him out for it, and very rightfully so, because Ateez would also go on to call him out for it in various creative ways, Wooyoung being one of the main Ateez members to call out Vata. Now, what made this more of a betrayal to the Ateez members, or to some of the Ateez members, is that Vata was apparently friends with Sun. I'm not sure how true that is, but they had worked together on dances, so it was assumed that they were friends. So for them to see somebody they considered a friend use their own dance move and then go on to pass it off as his own original work must have really felt like a great betrayal. So when Wooyoung said he wouldn't be doing the Like JENNIE dance challenge, it wasn't to shade or to disrespect JENNIE in any kind of way. It was just him refusing to endorse the work of somebody who betrayed them and stole something that was very precious to them. It's really baffling to see people on the internet, or people on Twitter especially, taking his words and trying to twist it and make it seem like he's disrespecting JENNIE or he is trying to shade her in some way or the other. Blackpink fans or JENNIE fans did go on to say, well, why didn't he just ignore the request if he was going to say no? And why didn't he just leave JENNIE's name out of it and call out the main perpetrator? And to that, all I have to say is, are people serious right now? Like, are you guys serious? JENNIE's name is literally in the title of the song. Hence, it's in the title of the dance challenge, Like JENNIE, because the song is called Like JENNIE. There's no way to not add her name into it. It's the name of the dance challenge. Also, should he have just ignored the request? Why? Why should he have to ignore the request just because it might be taken and misinterpreted incorrectly? Should we not be asking K-pop fans why it is that they take very small things and turn them into huge problems, scandals, and controversy where it wasn't even meant to be interpreted in that way? Fans just chose to interpret it terribly to make somebody else look bad. Shouldn't we be asking why that is happening? He said like 5 words and suddenly it's a huge thing. Another thing I think people don't understand about Vata stealing the highlight dance of Say My Name, and the significance of Say My Name especially, is because fans might not necessarily know the history of Ateez and their rise to popularity. Ateez was formed under a very small company, KQ Entertainment, and KQ Entertainment obviously did not have the budget of big companies, and they weren't able to debut Ateez as a standout group or debut them popular and famous right off the bat, as you see with a lot of big company groups. Ateez struggled a lot in the beginning, especially with a domestic fandom. They could not get the Korean public on board with their music. It took a long time to build their Korean fandom to what it is today. But it was the complete opposite with the international audience, because international fans really fell in love with Ateez a lot quicker than the Korean fans did. And Say My Name was a very huge turning point for Ateez. Say My Name was the era. It was the song that really brought their popularity up. It really grew their international fandom to a much bigger fandom than they would have ever imagined. Say My Name would become the pillar for their popularity on an international stage and in international markets. This song is near and dear to the members because it eventually built the foundation for what we see right now in terms of their fame and popularity with international fans, as opposed to what we see with the domestic fans. So it's no surprise that the members of Ateez and especially Wooyoung would be attached to Say My Name in the way that they are. So to see somebody steal a move from that choreography and try to pass it off as his own is something that they wouldn't just let slide. So is it fair to say, because the Say My Name dance had come out in 2019 and Vata had made the dance in 2022, that if nobody pointed it out, it would just go on unnoticed? Considering Zico is currently at HYBE, nobody would blink an eye, because Ateez is really not as popular in Korea as they are internationally. So a lot of K-pop fans in Korea would not really lose sleep over the fact that Vata stole a dance from a group that they probably consider to be Nungu. Here's the thing, Wooyoung is known for being very outspoken about things that bother him. It's what his fans love him for, and it's how he's always carried himself. If, as a K-pop fan, you would rather see your favorite groups and your favorite idols suffer in silence or ignore injustices that happen against them, that's okay. That's your group. Those are your faves. But don't expect other people's favorite idols and other people's fandoms to allow injustices to be done onto their favorite idols, or for idols to sit quietly and just wait until everything fizzles into the air and then move on with it. Now, we all know that different groups debut under very different conditions and under different circumstances. With that being said, not all groups have the privilege of just letting things go. And I especially mean smaller company groups, because they debut under very immense pressure to be the group that will financially stabilize their companies. We're talking about groups with companies that have employees that are working around the clock to come up with original concepts, original choreographies, everything as authentic, as standout as possible. So to have a bigger group or a bigger idol take that away from them is not necessarily the easiest thing to just let go of. This is stuff that they really want to fight for, because this is something that they don't have the privilege of just letting fizzle into the air, because then they would be allowing a bigger group and a bigger idol to take on a concept that they originally developed and become a lot more famous than they would ever be with something that they worked really, really hard to make as original as possible. I also think it's worth mentioning that Ateez gets plagiarized a lot. Like, I know a lot of K-pop groups get plagiarized like all the time. It happens on a daily basis. But Ateez gets plagiarized like every 5 to 7 business days. Like, it's actually ridiculous at this point. And the only people who ever stand up for them when they see the plagiarism and the people who call it out are their fans. Everybody else, especially most K-pop fans, I'm not saying all, but like, if you're not part of the Ateez fandom, most of the times fans really don't care that Ateez gets plagiarized, because it happens so much. It feels like their fans, Ateez, complain about it all the time, when in reality it's just that it happens a lot. So I think it's really unfair for fans of Blackpink and of Jennie to say that Wooyoung should have just ignored the whole thing and just not said anything, because he didn't mean any disrespect towards Jennie. He just doesn't want to do the dance challenge of somebody who stole a dance move from them that is very near and dear to their hearts. Also, I think the oxymoron of fans wanting K-pop idols to speak up when they face injustice or when they face struggles, and then hating on other idols for speaking up when they face injustice and struggles is ironic. It doesn't make sense. How do you want K-pop idols to come out and talk about their struggles and the injustices they face? And then when they do that, fans are very quick and very, very ready to misinterpret their words to create a problem that was never there in the first place. But then again, those are just my opinions, and you are free to share yours with me in the comment section. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe so I can keep making more videos just like this one. But until our next Dance with K-pop, goodbye.